Alright, so this is what Mark said. My thoughts on autosuggestion. Our dominating thoughts that occupy our conscious mind enter our subconscious. This makes me think about the vicious spiral of anxiety. How a thought that caused anxiety can attach to the emotion of anxiety and further suggest to the subconscious attraction of more anxiety. I say this only because we all struggle with this on some level. So according to this chapter, we must be repeatedly feeding our conscious mind with the thoughts of the things that we desire and attaching them with emotion. Think of this as visualization and feeling the emotions that come with achievement of the things we desire. This goes not just for riches and money, but also for pleasant experiences, material objects, and even with our relationships. What do you think about all of us going back to the 6 steps and writing out our statements? I believe by reading these statements aloud regularly and spending a few moments to visualize/attach emotion, we can increase our likelihood of achievement and joy, therefore eliminating the existence of negativity and anxiety.
I'm about it.
Cool, I like that. Anybody else's thoughts?
This definitely resonated with anxiety for me too, since it's something that I deal with and like have been dealing with a lot more recently since having kids.
And it's weird. I feel like both of you guys went like with like the negative, I guess. But I think for me, I went and thought about like how I want to be successful and like how I am going to be successful and like what I'm going to do to be successful. So it was like the opposite. And then when I saw Mark's text, I was like, well, damn, yeah, that works too. But
I went
That's
the
good,
other way
though.
too.
I
That's
don't think
good.
that way. So
Yeah, I went the opposite way. It can't just be words. You have to attach an emotion with it in order for it to be true.
I think my takeaway was just the power of emotions with words. Like, stuff doesn't mean stuff. Like, you can say a thing, but until you have an emotion behind it, good or bad, it doesn't have the same weight or power until it has that emotion. Before it's just a word, and then it actually has meaning when you attach that to it.
Right.
I think that you guys that everybody's absolutely nailing it, because that emotion thing matters. And it's so funny. So I was challenged by my best man to write my personal mission statement, if you will, from Think and Grow Rich when I started in the business. And I found myself getting flat with it, like saying it without emotion and energy. And I'm like, wow, no wonder it's not coming to life. There's no energy behind it. I think the powerful thing with autosuggestion too is that we control what gets into our subconscious. So we both said positive results and we said negative results. We said anxiety and we said positive outcomes. But I think the message that he's trying to convey to us is that we control what gets in. And so at the start of the lockdowns, the news was too much for me. And I've struggled with anxiety, like debilitating, can't leave my apartment anxiety for a variety of reasons. And I've decided that I will not listen to negative things anymore. So I don't listen to the news. I don't listen to the radio talking heads on sports that are screaming and yelling at each other. I try to pour in good things, but that's kind of what he's talking about, is that you control what gets into your subconscious. And once it gets into your subconscious, it's kind of buried. So we have to guard that, and we can use our mind as that outer layer, but also the media and the messages that we allow in is going to result in what our subconscious thinks, right? So you can actively program your subconscious with your mission statement. And then he also talks about reading this chapter until you believe in the power of autosuggestion. Not just reading your mission statement until you believe that, but reading the chapter until you believe in the power of autosuggestion. And if you're a little skeptical about it, which is normal, I think, when people first read the book, that has to happen. You have to believe it's going to happen in order for the next steps to work.
Yep, agreed. Spot on.
What do you know?
I like the thing where you're just talking about, visualizing what amount of money you want to make. Tell yourself that every day, how you're going to get there. And, it's kind of like in the earlier chapters where failure is not an option. You can't live in that world where that option exists.
You know what I really liked about that part, Robbie, was it wasn't, I'm going to have $100,000 by January 1st. It was like, I'm going to get little bits and pieces from here and there. It wasn't just like, I'm going to have it. It was kind of like the path, like not the expectation that you're just going to have it, but it's going to come in small pieces, but you will get there. I liked that too.
Great. Anybody else? Shelley? Actually, for me, this resonated because I'm watching my daughter struggle right now. She's got some mental health stuff going on. So I'm trying to get her, don't film me.
You look out, you're fine.
I'm trying to get her to understand that, yeah, with counseling, yeah, with medication, but you also have to stop the conscious thinking of, what started out with her with anxiety has turned into depression. And so I'm like, but if you continue to hone and focus on the depression, then it's only going to get worse because you keep telling yourself you're depressed. You keep telling yourself that you have anxiety. So I'm like, you got to get up. You got to tell yourself, I'm better. I feel good. And so this whole book is resonating with me a lot from a mom perspective versus a me perspective, because I'm trying to help her. And maybe she'll read the book. I don't know. But we try.
Hopefully.
But I've always told her, I've been telling her, in fact, her counselor talks about something very similar to stop the negative thought pattern. Every time you have a negative thought, consciously stop, replace that negative thought with a positive thought. But I think that's hard because we don't always catch ourselves doing the negative thought because it's so...
Or when you're negative thought, it's so far gone. Like the night that I
So
didn't
hard.
feel good, and I was like, I don't feel good, I'm gonna pass out. Bam! And it was like, it just...
Right.
It's wild.
We talk ourselves into everything.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. It's crazy when you think about it. But the feeling matters.
I think there was something else that it wasn't this book, but there was like some video that I was watching, and they were like, if you are in a bad place and you're thinking bad thoughts, give yourself 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes, you're done.
Yeah, move on.
Get it out, move on, go do something else and think positively.
Yeah, give yourself a beat, but don't let it
Drag you down.
Yeah.
I think when you program in your mission statement, your purpose, what you desire, then it helps alleviate some of those anxieties over time. It takes time, but so much of we get what we think about, and that's what the whole book is about, right? We get what we think about, we do what we think about, and autosuggestion is your way of programming your mind to believe that it's going to happen, and I think that this chapter doesn't talk about is that our innate nature is to allow in negativity more than positivity. So the positive action takes a lot more time, right? Just like if you didn't lift weights, you're not going to be strong. And in order to get strong, it takes a lot more time lifting weights than it does not lifting weights. So you have to, over time, practice this stuff. And it's an action. It's not just a think about once thing and let it go. It's an action that you practice over time. And, I appreciate you sharing your daughter's struggle, and so many people struggle with anxiety specifically. I think we're just bombarded with negative energy. It's everywhere around us, and so it takes extra effort to get out of that. But then I think that maybe a message to share with your daughter is it is possible.
Right.
And when you're in it, it's hard to believe it, but it is possible. It takes some action. And I agree. So introducing this book, we started asking anybody who interviews with us to read the first 2 chapters or write a personal mission statement before they can sit down with us.
Wow, that's fantastic.
That's a good idea.
I've never had success with people who refuse to do it. It will not work with us because they don't know what they want. So how do I know if it's going to work with us?
Right.
But I'm grateful that you guys chose to let me in on this book club. I wouldn't miss it, whether Mark's here or not, because this is powerful stuff and you guys are on a great journey. So thanks for including me.
And thanks for being here.
Yes.
Awesome. Any final thoughts? No.
Everyone plan on how much money they're going to have at the end of the year.
I'm gonna get the lottery tickets.
Yes.
Well, I'll jump off and let you guys get on with the rest of your meeting.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Nick. Bye.
Good.